Welcome back. Today I just noticed 5 bots on chess.com that might be new, or maybe I just haven't noticed them before. They are under a coach category. Just underneath the Women's History Month bot, there is Danny rated 400, Coach May at 800, Dante at 1200, Monica at 1600, and Coach David at 2000. I don't think I have time to play all of them right now, but I'm going to try to get through as many as I can. I'm going to play Coach Danny, who is rated 400. I'm going to choose Danny, play random colors, challenge, no help of any kind. Let's see how it goes. It looks like I will get the black pieces. I'm going to play the Carol Khan defense and see what Danny does in response. Okay, this happened once before. What was I supposed to do in this one? Was I supposed to just go ahead and play d5? I can't remember now. I honestly can't remember. Or am I supposed to go ahead and get the knight out? I'm going to go ahead and get the knight out. Okay, the queen has moved back. I will play d5 now. And take, exchanging a flank pawn for a center pawn. I also have this, but again, I think the queen just moves aside. Seems like one of the other bots played a very similar opening against me recently, and let's see what Danny does in response. Danny has gone all the way over there. I can check, but that's very easily thwarted by a bishop block or moving this forward. Also, that queen is aiming at this pawn here. It seems like I remember just moving the queen here was a good move against that, wasn't it? Let's try that. That protects this pawn, and this pawn is still protected by the knight, which I am about to protect even more with this e6 push. Okay, the queen has moved once more. I think now we can get out this dark squared bishop, but I'm not sure which of those two squares is the best, e7 or d6, or getting out the other knight. See, that queen is aiming down here, but that is currently protected. I could also just challenge the queen again, but it's just going to move again, right? Let's go to d6 with this bishop, which does block my queen a little bit, but I'd rather have the bishop in front of my queen, at least right now. Eventually, I would like it behind my queen, but oh wait, where is that going? Is that going in here? And then if I castle, no, that wouldn't be mate because my knight's there. I could just take it and that would damage the structure, I think. No, it wouldn't damage the structure necessarily because the queen could take. Okay, maybe now is a good time to retract the knight and point it at the queen, just out of curiosity. See where it's going to go back over there. Well, now I don't have to worry about the queen pointing here. It is still defending this pawn. Wait, I have 2 attackers on that pawn now. I can just take that pawn, protected by my queen, right? Let's do that. And that not only gains me a pawn, but it threatens their queen. Okay, the knight has gone back. This is the point at which we run into with every low-rated bot at which the bot has blundered. It might have blundered before this, but this is the first one that I've noticed because it just gave up the queen. And I assume it'll take back with this pawn. It did not. All right, well then we can bring our bishop to safety, or we can trade it off for their light-squared bishop since they declined to take it. And they declined the trade. Okay, now again we can check. But again, they can block that fairly easily. But right now we're preventing them from castling. So what should we do? We can pick up another pawn right now, but that opens their rook, and I don't know if that's a good idea. I'm going to get out my other knight, and I'm aiming at their only remaining center pawn. Oh, developing and attacking. That's a great idea, Danny says. Well, I thought it was, Danny. Let's see. I don't want to give up the bishop just yet, so what if we put it right here and threaten to trade off for this knight? Well, since they haven't attacked my bishop, can't I just take this pawn now? Let's do that. And then I'm threatening this fork here, which I think they might trade off their light-squared bishop for, so let's check. And then if they take, I'll take. They did not take. They've moved out of check. Okay, so I could just take this rook now, and then I might have trouble getting my knight out, or I could check, but then they could block. Oh, but then I could take because my knight is still guarding that square. Where would they move if they didn't block? They came up here, for example. I could check again at that point, and the king would have to go over there someplace. Well, not there, because my knight's covering that square. I'm going to go ahead and check first and see what happens, and leaving this knight capturing the rook for a little bit later. Okay, it did move there, so I can check here. Oh, but then the king could just go back. So is there another check besides that? There is. Oh, but then that blocks the dark squared bishop, and it doesn't get the rook. I say let's take the rook now and see where the bot has challenged this bishop. I really want to try to finish off that king, but I'm not sure how. I guess I can, let me check again and then see if I can save that dark squared bishop another way. And is the king... It could go back. It did not go back. It went over here. Now they do have 2 pieces defending that pawn, so I have to be careful here. I can check again with the knight, but their bishop's guarding that square. So now I think is a good time to save my dark squared bishop, and I think I'll put it here. 2 centralized bishops is pretty cool. Yeah, taking that's not a good idea. I'm going to put it here. I don't think they can do anything about it right now, so I'm just going to... Okay, they've gotten their knight out of danger. Their knight was in danger, but now it's not. Now I can get my knight out. No, now... I was going to say now they have 2 pieces defending that square, but I also have 2 pieces defending that square. So if we trade those off now, I think that'll be fine. I would like to continue checking here, but that pawn's pretty safe at this moment. Okay, they've just given up their knight, and I'm not worried about this. So I'm going to take their knight for free. Okay, they didn't take here. If they did, I was going to take back. And now that pawn only has 1 defender, that bishop. Oh no, the king's also defending it. Okay, well, let's trade off another piece since I am up drastically on material. Okay, they did take back this time. And now I can check here. But again, no, sorry. Wow, that bishop is still guarding that square. I'm going to have to watch out for that. Well, let's bring this knight further back to safety. And we're, of course, threatening that bishop. It has moved out of the way. Does that do anything? Oh, now they've removed one of the another defender of this pawn. Oh, but they've added one with the rook. Should I castle now and get my rooks into the game? Because my rooks haven't moved yet. Or should I go after that pawn? I really don't know. I'm going to castle to get a rook into the game. Now this rook is behind a passed pawn. Okay, they've done that. That's okay, I guess. If I go here, that's safe, right? And it temporarily threatens the light squared bishop, but it's aiming down here for a check. Let's try that. And also, it inadvertently guards the promotion square for this pawn, should I end up getting all the way down there with it. Let's just check there and see where that king goes. I think it has to go to one of those 2 squares. That pawn is still defended, but I can now fork the king and the rook, so I'm going to do that and pick up even more material. Sometimes when I'm not sure how to checkmate, I just do what I call CPR, which is continuous piece removal. Once you get more and more pieces of the opponents out of the way, it becomes steadily easier to checkmate them. Because here I don't think I have a checkmate just yet. I cannot check at this moment. So yeah, let's just exchange that knight for the rook. I assume they'll take with the bishop, which is aiming at this undefended pawn. But now I can check. Let's do that. Okay, the king has moved out of check there, and nothing's defending this pawn, so let me take that with check. And I am attacking the bishop, but I assume the king will move back to defend it. It did not, so it just gave me the bishop with check. And it has to go here because my bishop and queen were guarding those squares. And this looks like that's made. Okay, how many moves was that? 33 moves. But I think it went okay. I don't think I made any severe blunders. We saw the point at which the bot blundered, but I am going to save it to my archive. And just in case, I'm going to run the game review. If we see anything surprising, it'll be right after this. Well, I didn't see anything too surprising. It says that I had no mistakes and no blunders, and I played with 90.3% accuracy. The graph at the upper right shows approximately the point, I think, where I took the queen, where the bot gave me its queen, where it just drops down to black's favor there. But it says I have 2 misses here on the right column, which is hidden behind my camera view. I'm going to scroll down and see if I can find where those are. Okay, my first one was bishop captures c4. Oh, no, sorry, just bishop to c4. I moved my bishop here. Is it saying that I should have checked in this position? Surely not. Or maybe I should have checked with the bishop? Or should I have taken that free pawn over there? No, because my bishop's in danger. Oh, should I have moved up one? Why is that counted as a miss? Is there a piece hanging someplace besides that? Oh. Do you see it? I see it. It's right there. Well, that is a surprise. I did not notice that during the game. I brought back here knowing that I had just taken the queen and they neglected to take my bishop back. So I thought, I'm up 10 points of material. I should just try to trade off here. But what I should have done was taken this unguarded bishop. Only legal move at that point would have been for white to block with their bishop. And then, of course, I would have taken it and that would have been checkmate because my bishop's here. Yeah, I have mate in 2 at this point and I should have taken that bishop. Okay, it took me a second, but there it is. And a little later in the game, I had another miss, which was right after this move. When the king moved out of check, I had another miss here. It says mate in 2. Well, I did mate in 2. So how was my next move a miss? My next move was taking this, and it says that was counted as a miss. So I should have done something else at this point. What was it? That was a check that forced the king back there, which allowed me to mate in 2 more moves, right? I'm not seeing it. Surely wasn't that, because that would have just given up the bishop. But then I guess I couldn't have checked again then. Well, I'm definitely not seeing it at this point. I'm going to switch to the analysis board and see what it says I should have done. I should have played queen to f1. And it says their best move at that point would just be to take this pawn. And, oh, okay, I see there's a mate here that they can't stop. There's a mate on g2 because my bishop is protecting that square. And white would not have been able to stop it. So yeah, I would have basically been threatening the bishop and mate. Well, I wouldn't have seen that. And as I said during the video, I was on my CPR plan. But if I had done that, okay, it said they can't stop it. It doesn't matter what they do. That's checkmate. But instead of that, I took this pawn, which takes us to mate in 5. But because the bot did that, it gave me a mate in 2, which I took. And the king had to go there or to the corner. In either way, I had a mate. That second miss I'm not that worried about, but the first miss, definitely I should have seen because it wasn't a timed game. Yeah, I should have seen right here that bishop was undefended, so I didn't have to worry about my light squared bishop because their dark squared bishop's undefended. That would have been a check. They would have had to have blocked, and that would have been checkmate. Well, thank you for watching. As soon as I get a chance, I'll play the next of the coach bots. This was Coach Danny. Well, it just says white right now, but on the game board it said Coach Danny from the United States. I believe that's based on one of the higher ups there at chess.com. We'll see you next time.